Hi everyone, welcome to the final video for our course. As you can see, this video is current. I'm making it on Monday morning because I have braces and I didn't have them the last time I saw you. So, you are working individually on your final projects, and as some of you have noted, if there was ever a time where it would have been really great to have a class where we met in person or met live, it would be now as you're digesting all these epistemological viewpoints and synthesizing everything. So, I understand this is complicated stuff. Of course, I'm here to help you out if you have individual questions, and I understand your frustrations. And please know that, as I've said several times to many of you, this does take time to sink in. And while we would like to have a handle on everything by the end of this semester, this is the beginning of many conversations you will be having throughout your doctoral program and as you begin to really delve into your own dissertation. So this final project, I'm expecting you to really be demonstrating that you're synthesizing how all these pieces come together, but I understand by all means that you won't have a handle on every theory that's out there and understand every term. So a few points to keep in mind as you're crafting your final project. First of all, your phase twos were a good beginning. I found that I gave a variation of feedback to each of you, all with a similar theme. As you transition to your final project, I want you to think clearly about the thread that binds together your literature review. How would you group all of the studies? How do they connect? How are they different? How would you want to discuss them in such a way that you're telling a story? The story, again, of what has occurred and transpired in the field prior to your own research. And for many of you, I suggested creating headings and subheadings. And again, this is not just so that your paper looks good or looks outlined. This will help you. If you can come up with ideas of how you would group together the way you talk about these studies, it's going to help you to figure out this narrative thread. A good literature review sets the stage for the introduction of your research. In painting the research landscape, you are giving a rationale for why your own research will be important, because you're either offering a description of research upon which your own will build, or for which your own will fill a hole, or that comes at the field from a different approach than others have studied in the past. And again, as I have said several times in the past, your literature review demonstrates that you understand the grand conversation that has been occurring around your field or fields of interest as they intersect, or how you're thinking about how all these different fields that intersect for you could be pulled together. And this is allowing you to step into the conversation as a researcher. Now, for the sake of this final project, I understand that you're looking at a small slice of the pie, a very, very small slice as compared to what your actual literature review will look like for your dissertation. Having carefully selected 12 sources, however, how are you able to begin to map out what the literature landscape is? As I offered to a few of you, I actually suggest printing out the visual organizer that you developed. I looked at them all and I can see how they would all be helpful for you, but they're only helpful in the sense that you actually use them to organize your thinking. They're nice, pretty pictures, but how are they actually serving to keep you on task for how your research questions, your literature, your theory all should mesh together, as well as the methods that you select. In the part of the final project where I ask you to describe some of the theories that you are drawing upon, I want you to offer a few paragraphs in which you describe these theories and how they're integral to the study. Please don't just list them off. Think back to the beginning of the course and the example I gave about the doctoral student from TC who was crafting a study on special needs. In that case, I was hoping that the student could give some examples of which approach to special needs drove the study. Did the student adopt a mainstreaming approach? Did the student draw upon the theories of push out, pushing students out to separate classrooms? I wanted the student to draw upon the literature of special needs. But For your own study, your theoretical framework might emerge from theories that are outside of your particular field. That's okay too. Um, some of you have referred to social learning theory, critical theory, constructivism. This is completely fine. The point, however, is that you want to be clear for your own audience and, of course, for yourself as to which theories drive your own study. And the hope is that these theories will align with the research questions and methods that you select. So really give this thought, and this is going to help you as you move along through your doctoral studies. A week ago, the last point I want to talk about is a week ago, I wrote to you and told you to think post-positivism with your final project. With regards to the part where I ask you to contrast I initially asked you to think about positivism and how that might drive your study. And then I ask you, I think it's the third question of the assignment, I don't have it in front of me, where I asked you to think about postmodernist methods, and then I wrote to you and asked you to think post-positivism. So why did I do this? I wrote this in response to some of your concerns that you had not read about postmodernism enough. However, when I wrote this to you to think post-positivism, I think I might have further confused you, so I want to clarify. It is quite true, as Cresswell notes, that as the initial breakaway from positivism, post-positivists are more closely aligned with positivists than those who followed. Critical theorists who you have read about, social constructionists, post-structuralists, etc. Denson and Lincoln, who also write extensively on qualitative research, note that post-positivists argue that reality can only be approximated. It can never be fully discovered. In their eyes, post-positivism draws upon multiple methods as a way to capture as much of reality as possible. So, though I was trying to help you when I said think post-positivism, I was encouraging you to think about everything that is a response to positivism as one category, as folks often do. The term post-positivism is often referred to in that way. I can see why this might have instead further served to confuse you. I'm sorry for this. As you all recognize, critical theorists and others in the postmodernist tradition that we have read about reject the notion that the purpose of research is to lead to reason and truth. They would say instead it is about either achieving praxis, enabling multi-layered voices to be heard, dialoguing with subjects, shifting power. So, all this being said, in response to your questions to me, for the final project, you will be first developing a few paragraphs in which you explore the research from a positivist perspective. Do your best to imagine what this would look like. I understand that for most, if not all of you, this is a rhetorical exercise. And then, imagine as one who is not a positivist. Begin to really flesh out the methods that will guide your project. There might be mixed methods or purely qualitative methods. Why are you selecting these methods? What will they help you to find out? And of course, as I just noted, always keep in mind how the methods fit with your research question and theoretical framework. I guess I'll just close by saying it's been a true pleasure to learn with you this semester. This is the beginning of your doctoral program, but consider how far you have advanced during the semester. And I really look forward to reading your final projects. You can send them to me as Google Docs, and then I will be able to give you feedback, and hopefully your final project is something that you will be able to build upon as you move forward. I hope that this discussion of post-positivism was somewhat helpful to you. I assigned you the Cresswell because I think that, as many of you wrote to me and noted, he's very straightforward in his approach. But I do understand that the way he talks about post-positivism might be slightly different from the way others might, as thinking about it as a broad category in response to positivism. Okay, any further questions, please feel free to write to me, and I will look forward to reading your projects. Bye-bye.